How goes the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys are having a great and exceptional day. It's another beautiful day to be alive, as they say. It's the heat wave is still upon us, no matter what part of the country that you're in. So it's a special thing, but it's all good in the neighborhood. All right. So with that being said, if you're watching, do the great three free things like, share, and subscribe. That's always greatly appreciated. So this is a subject matter that's been on my mind. Subject matter I really don't talk about that much. I don't think I've ever really talked about this specific topic on my channel before. I've had these conversations with other acquaintances, associates, etc., and so forth. I've never really talked about this online. Bear in mind, I'm not going to get graphic or detailed about people's sexual pleasures and all that other stupid nonsense. That's not my thing. What I am going to say is that it's an interesting topic. Is sex overrated? As people get older, especially men, I can't speak for women, but especially for a lot of men, sex is just not that big of a deal. Like the new aphrodisiac for most men that are about their business, I like to say that, is really it's new life experiences, accomplishing something, whether it's getting another degree, certification, opening up a business or increasing your business, getting a promotion at your job, ensuring that if you have a family, you take care of them, make sure they're doing the best they can, push them to be the best person they can be, push their significant other to be the best person they can be. So all these things are all encompassing when you think about it. They're all encompassing. But the interesting thing is, and this is just my personal opinion, I swear this is interesting. But yeah, anyways, it's just my personal opinion. But the interesting thing about this is that a lot of relationships end because there's no sex involved. Now, I think that is going down tremendously in today's world because, well, heck, it's probably been going down more since the global economic meltdown of 2007-8 time frame. I remember there was a joke that D.L. Hughley, said that people were staying in the same relationship with one another because they couldn't afford to be by themselves, and that's the funny thing when you think about it. And that was then. Today, the job market is a little bit better compared to 2007 and 8, but the cost of living has gone up tremendously. It's like it is everything's overpriced. And when I say everything's overpriced, I'm saying everything's overpriced to where even my butt is like, sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I don't really need to be out and about because just about me going out and having a couple of drinks and whatnot, like what most likely the bill would be $60 to $70, and I can go to the liquor store and spend over half of that. I can go spend $20 or $30, $40 and get what I want to get and be good to go. So sitting at the bar, it's not that big of a deal. Like, this is the one summer I'm just like, yeah, I'm not going to be outside like that because I'm not missing anything. Especially right now, it's just hot as hell. It's like it's uncomfortable to be outside. So hot as hell. Hot as hell. That's number one. And then number two, it's like everything's overpriced. What's the point? I'm not missing anything out there, unless it's like a special occasion. So I'll leave it at that. But anyways, I digress. But anyways, that was the point that I remember D.L. Hughley getting at, and that's happening more so now that people have it's cheaper to keep them, whether it's a man or a woman. The whole trying to survive by yourself and do things by yourself is becoming a thing of the past. And a lot of people are just settling. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But the thing is, at the end of the day, is that my mindset is this. Before I'm going to go into the statistics and things of that nature of the percentages of less couples having sex, less Americans being sexually engaged. But the main reason why I'm saying this is not because I'm trying to get into people's personal business, but my mindset is this. It's cool, it's good to lust after somebody, but it's cool. It's even better to be infatuated mentally with somebody. Okay, to be obsessed with the visions that they have. Be obsessed with the things that they bring to the table, not even just financially, but intellectually. Partnership is more than just sex. Sex should be, as Jason Black would say, sex is a given, but sex should be at the bottom of the barrel when you get past the age of 30. It's like, okay, cool. It's something I like doing, but if it doesn't happen, the world will still turn. Say if you had a partner who had a situation where they couldn't perform anymore, but you love this person, are you going to leave them? Is it really that serious, or do you really just love them? Love is supposed to trump sex. Sex is supposed to be a given. Partnership is supposed to trump sex. Sex should, when you get to a certain, look, I'm 41 years old. The next 7 months, 5 months. 5 months, I'll be 42 years old. So for me, I'm over that. Sex for me is money, experiences. Sorry for the pause. Yeah, sex for me is money, experiences, learning new things, being able to take adventures, connecting with people. I always say, look, the pandemic is one of the things that just made me say, Lord have mercy. If we ever get out of this, I'll never take being able to go out for granted again. And like I said, the last 2 years of my life, it's been ridiculous how much I've been out and about. So that's why I'm on the chill pill lately. And with that being said, at the end of the day, that's just my opinion. That's my 2 cents. And I'll leave it at that. So, according to Psychology Today, and this article came out of September of 2023. I'm broadcasting June 2024. It says as many as 1 in 7 married adults in the United States are in relationships with little to no sex. Sex can disappear for a wide range of reasons, including relationships, problems, and health issues. Now, and that's the thing that I brought up with the health issues. Now, sometimes it said relationship problems, and those could be the main 2 reasons. It says, although involuntary celibacy is usually experienced negatively, many people stay in sexless marriages. I remember there was an episode of this show called Girlfriends. And the one, I think her name was Lynn, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, the one character on the show, there was 2 light-skinned women, 2 dark-skinned women on the show. So the one younger light-skinned woman, she ended up falling in love with this guy who was just, to her, not only was she sexually attracted to him, she was mostly mentally attracted to him. And when I saw the show when I was younger, I've been like, yeah, I would have been I was on her side, like, yeah, just leave him alone because he's not performing sex with you. But now that I'm older now, a little bit more mature, the gentleman said that when he was younger, he was a sexual raging beast. He would jump in and out of bed like crazy. He was like a nymphomaniac in a sense. A nympho is a person who just got to have sex, got to have it all the time. It's like water. It's like breathing air. Okay. So he was in a sense of in recovery from doing that, being a nympho. And she in herself was a nympho. She was into freaky stuff just like him. So they had that in common. But he was on the path of celibacy. And I think he was celibate remember this was a fictional story, but people do this. He stated, and I quote, that he was celibate for the last 3 to 5, 6 years between that time frame. And he says for the most part, he knows he's going to remain single because most females cannot respect the fact that he wants to remain celibate. Like a lot of females who in today's world want to remain celibate, I get it and I respect it. You know, when I was younger, I was like, man, get out of here with all that nonsense. But now that I'm older, I'm like, I get it and I respect it. You know, it's your body, it's your choice. If you're saving yourself for that special someone, or if you're at a point in your life where you're like, I'm kind of over it, I get it. And there's many people who catch diseases from sexual engagement, for as many people who have oopsie babies that they cannot afford, so they have to get on government assistance. I'm not knocking people who've had to get on government assistance, but when it's a continuous cycle, then I have an issue with it. I'm gonna leave it at that, because eventually, look, somebody's gonna need help. Eventually, somebody's gonna have a medical issue. You know, that's what unemployment is for. That's what Medicare or Medicaid is for. Eventually, somebody's gonna have an issue because of something that was done out of their control. Hopping in out of bed with somebody, you have control over it. And I'm not trying to be the old man pointing my fingers at, but it's your choice. But don't go crying wolf after you decide to just hop in and out of bed with somebody and have a bunch of kids. You know, I just got to keep it real in that aspect. But long story short, the couple didn't make it because he's like, I knew you weren't going to be able, you know, because he's like, it's clear that you're not going to be able to respect the journey that I'm on. So I think it's time for us to call it quits. And she got into a big depression because he left her, because he was the perfect, in a sense, quote unquote, he was the perfect guy for her, just because of that one thing. Like, because he showed passion and he showed affection, but he was not going to have sex with her. Because he was a man that was on a mission and a man that was passionate about doing other things. Okay, straight up and down. You know, so I get it and I respect that. You know, straight up and down. And I applaud anybody who wants to be celibate. I applaud anybody who wants to put their energy into things that are much more productive. I mean, yeah, we live in the culture of social media. You know, you got a lot of people half naked, twerking videos everywhere. Porn, access to porn is literally like that, or you can just go on X, they call which used to be Twitter. It's nothing to see somebody butt naked anymore on the internet. Heck, even in person a lot of times. So with that being said, because it's nothing to see anybody that's naked and that looks like that, why lose sleep over it? Like I said, I think I always like to quote when there was this documentary that I saw back in 2007 and 2008. And it was talking about, you know, marijuana and things of that nature. And this is before states started legalizing it and things of that nature. But there was a gentleman who, I believe he was a prosecutor for a specific county. It might have been Los Angeles County or it might have been San Francisco, but it was in California. So, and he said that, you know what they've done in certain parts of Europe? He said they've made marijuana boring. He said the majority of the drug addicts because they've legalized it. So majority of the drug addicts that they have is you know, heroin addicts and things of that nature. And that's what a lot of states, you know, like in the United States now, marijuana has become essentially like alcohol and tobacco. A lot of states, red states and blue states, have legalized it, so it's not a big deal. Certain parts of Europe, prostitution is legal, heavily regulated, but legal. I'm not saying you should be for it or against it, but once again, if you make, in a lot of European countries, sex is not a big deal. It's like whatever. You know, they have nude beaches, for crying out loud. So sex is, you know, people that, and I remember learning about this back in the 90s, people on regularly scheduled commercial television, this is before social media, you had naked people in the commercials. So it wasn't a big deal, once again. And today, sex is not a big deal. And if your relationship is based purely on that, then that's good for you. But if you're a person that's like this important to me, then I don't see a problem with that, period. I just got to keep it real. I got to keep it real. So anyways, the article says a lot of adults are living in sexless marriages. Data from nationally representative U.S. surveys indicate that around 7% of married adults haven't had sex in the past year, while 4% haven't had sex in the past 5 years. If you factor in couples who engage in sexual activity on a very infrequent basis, the numbers are even higher, 14 to 15%. Despite the fact that there are as many as 1 in 7 marriages feature little to no sex, surprisingly little research exists on this topic. So why does sexual activity sometimes disappear in relationships, and how does this affect the partners? Also, why do so many people remain in sexless marriages when, by and large, these experiences tend to be highly distressing? So before I go forward, my mindset is the economic aspects, 1, and then 2, because the people actually love each other. So not engaging in sexual activity isn't important. And for most people, the older they get, it just becomes less important. I can be honest, for me, it's less important. Especially when you get older and you have responsibilities and things to worry about, you're not worried about that. It's just the last thing that's on your mind. You got bills, you got debts, you have a job, you have kids. So your release is to be able to relax and just be mindless and do no physical activity and just zone out, whether it's listening to music, whether it's watching television, on social media, whatever the case may be. Getting in the car, taking a long drive, get on a plane, one or the other. But that's where your mindset is at, okay? Well, anyways, in a study published in the Journal of Marriage and Family Researchers, recruited 77 people online who were involved in either a married or a long-term relationship in which they desired sexual contact with their partner but were unable to maintain a consistent sex life for a period of at least 6 months. Note that while all participants in the study were heterosexual, sexless marriages and relationships definitely exist among same-sex couples too. And I can believe that. There's no discrimination here. Love, sex, whether it's same-sex couples or not, feelings are feelings, and the way people want to live their lifestyle is the way they want to live their lifestyle, and things of that nature. All the participants were voluntarily celibate, meaning they wanted sex but weren't having it. I love the phrase involuntary celibate. Participants were about evenly divided between men, women, and their range in age from 18 to 65 years old. With most being in their late 30s to early 40s, all participants completed the survey in which they were asked about the circumstances surrounding their lack of sexual activities and the effects it has had on them in their relationship. And for a lot of people, this can have a negative effect. I cannot be delusional saying that because one person wants to be celibate and another person becomes involuntary celibate, how it does not have an effect on their relationship. I'm sure it does, because certain people are like, look, I don't want to do it. Certain people are like, I do still want to do it. Some people are over it. Some people are not over it. I call it, like I said, for me, the new sex is, I'm not trying to get, I'm not getting too much in the weeds. It's money, it's experiences, it's learning. That's the ultimate aphrodisiac for me. Period. So, but I leave it at that. So anyways, it says why sex disappears. The most commonly reported factors contributing to the sexual decline were their partner's lack of desire for sex. For some, this meant a lack of desire for sex in general, while for others, it meant lack of interest in sexual specifically with one spouse. Relationship problems, sexual dysfunctions, such as erectile dysfunctions, physical appearance concerns, addictions and illnesses, and or infidelity. And all these, I can believe it. And I'm not a psychiatrist, so I'm not going to act like I can psychoanalyze. But this just seems practical and a plausible reasons why people would stop engaging in sexual conduct, sexual behavior. I think for a lot of people who are not in the business of trying to cheat on their significant other, and these are the ones I'm going to speak for. I think these are the ones that are just, there was a part that says lack of sexual desire for sex. And I think I think people, when they get older, your desires change, and either you lose them, and we all lose desires for certain things. It's just life. You change, you get older, life changes. Or I just think, and I know that it's just like, hey, your desires are being pushed elsewhere. The things that put a smile on your face when you were younger no longer put a smile on your face. You know, the things that you engaged in when you were younger, you no longer engage in when you're older. It's like, I'm in my 40s. I used to go to the club darn near every weekend back in my mid-20s. I don't do that anymore. Only time I do that is when it's on a special occasion, and usually I want it to be an area where it's a more mature crowd. I don't want to be around the 20-somethings. Heck, when I was in my 20s, people that were in their 40s that were coming to the club, sometimes I would make fun of them. I remember there was this one couple. You could tell, like, they had to have been from the West Coast. They just had the West Coast vibe. But when they started dancing, and there's this old show called Three's Company, and I started singing this. I started singing the song "Come and Knock on Our Door," the intro to the show. "Come and knock on our door, we've been waiting for you." And one of my friends, he started laughing because I was like, "What are they doing here? They're trying to be 20-something." But they were older couples. They were having a good time. They weren't hurting anybody, and it was a cool atmosphere. It wasn't bad, It was all good. But the point I'm making is, I'm not trying to be that 40-something-year-old around a bunch of 20-somethings trying to act like I'm still in my 20s. I'm not. I'm in my 40s, and I'm good with that. A lot of people can't say they made it to 40. So I'm gonna leave it at that. So anyway, so the article says most participants reported that their sex lives slowed down gradually as a result of one or more of these factors. However, the ones I mentioned earlier, infidelity, lack of desire to do it, or lack of desire with a partner, or illnesses, things of that nature. However, some reported that sex stopped abruptly, and some reported that they never really had much of a sex life to begin with. And that could be it too. A lot of people, especially, you got to bear in mind, when a lot of times people get older and they connect, quote unquote, kissing, hugging, maybe a little cuddling, and that's it. I mean, if you ever seen the show The Big Bang Theory, like the character Sheldon and Amy, Amy was basically ready to break up with Sheldon if he didn't have sex with her. And he was, so he went out of his way to make, his relationship was pure from an academic and intellectual standpoint, but eventually he started showing intimacy because that's what she craved, and he wanted to keep her, so it is what it is. But Sheldon was younger at the time. Imagine meeting Sheldon's character in his 40s and 50s. I think it really wouldn't have happened, but what do I know? But anyways, as you can see, there isn't just one path to sexless marriage or sexless relationship. I can believe that. So it says responses to involuntary celibacy. Participants expressed a range of reactions to involuntary celibacy. However, they were almost universally negative and frequently included feelings of frustration, depression, and rejection. Others reported concentration, difficulties, ergo, difficulty thinking about anything other than sex, and low self-esteem. Most said that the lack of sex was a major problem in their lives. For example, as one male participant put it, it is a deleterious effect on my overall life. I had to really sound that word out. A deleterious effect on my overall life. I dwell on sexual thoughts and fantasies. I am depressed, he says. He says, my professional life is impacted. Wow. This detracts from the time I should spend on work-related activities. Dang. And that's crazy when somebody says something like that. The fact that it's affecting their overall life, because that's how important sex is to them. Now, I'm wondering what the age is of this person, because like I said, my personal opinion is that my personal opinion is that it should never affect your professional life. It should never affect how you especially you messing with your professional life, you're messing with your way of life. You're messing with how you eat, have a roof over your head, have a car. Do I need to have a cell phone? Do I need to go on? You're gonna let sex mess with your overall being and day to day. Okay, I got to keep it real. Okay, that's all I can say. Okay, straight up and down. But what do I know? I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that, straight up and down. But anyways, so that was, like I said, that was very interesting, because I never would thought anybody would allow their quality of life to be ruined just because they're not having sex. But so anyway, it says, given these reactions, some people ended up leaving their relationships. However, many stayed because they were still benefits to the relationship overall, not to mention the high cost associated with breaking up. In fact, 47% of participants reported staying in sexless marriages because they felt that, aside from the lack of sex, they had the ideal partner. And I gotta read that again. In fact, 47% of the participants reported staying in a sexless marriage because they felt that, aside from the lack of sex, they had the ideal partner. And whether it's marriage or long-term relationships, it should be about having the ideal partner. And I know that sounds crazy coming from a guy, but it should be about having the ideal partner. When that ideal partner speaks, does he or she make you excited? Do they make you motivated? When you're engaging in any other activity but that, does that person bring excitement to your life? Does that person spark your intellectual curiosity? Are you intrigued with that person's day-to-day? Are they intrigued with your day-to-day? These should be the things. Has this person helped take you to places you never thought you'd ever go, on all levels, outside of sex? So that's why I said, like that, I had to hit the nail on that one. I really did. Okay, straight up and down. Because that should be the main thing at the end of the day. And that's just what it is. I got to keep it real on that one. All right. So it says, in addition, many stayed because they felt that there was too much to lose by leaving. Ergo, they had significant investments in the relationship, such as children. A lot of people stay in marriages, in relationships, because of children, or because they felt socially compelled to stay. Ergo, religious motivations. A lot of times, people's faith, religious beliefs, whatever you want to call it. I mean, heck, I believe, and if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that in the Catholic Church, if you're a member of the Catholic Church, you can't get married or divorced. And if I'm wrong, then put it in the chat. But you can't get married or divorced without the preacher's or reverend's blessing. Priest, I believe they call them priests in the Catholic Church. I'm not a religious person, but I respect everybody that's religious and faith and all that good stuff. That's the beautiful thing about the United States of America. But I want to make sure I try to get it right. But the priest has to bless the marriage, and the priest has to give permission to get a divorce if you consider yourself a devout Catholic. If I'm wrong, put it in the chat. But I believe that is the rules and regulations of their faith, and various other faiths as well. But I'm not going to, get deep into it, because that's not my area of expertise whatsoever. But I respect everybody's beliefs or non-beliefs, whatever. So it makes it harder to get married in that environment, and it makes it harder to get divorced in that environment from a religious standpoint, faith standpoint, whatever you want to call it. children. I don't have kids, but I know it's hard to break up a household when you have children. So it's like a lot of times I've seen people stay in relationships, even have more babies by the individual that they don't particularly care to be with anymore, just for the sake of the children, you know. And I've seen people get divorced. I've seen people get divorced as soon as the kids graduate from high school. Does that mean the kids were leaving the house? So they didn't mind breaking the household up then, because in a sense, they're considered, once your kids leave the house and don't live in the house anymore, you're considered to be an empty nester. Heck, my next door neighbor, he's still married to his wife legally, but they're not. They basically might as well be divorced. But they're in the it's cheaper to keep them mindset, and you got bills to pay, so we might as well, because all the kids are grown, and I only have one kid living in the house, but all the kids are grown. Other two children are out the house and grown. So, but like I said, it is what it is. And they might still sleep in the same bedroom or might not. I don't know, but I know they live in the same house because I see them every day. But anyways, this is good stuff, you know. This is good stuff. Smaller numbers stayed because they felt that though they had better, as though they did not have better options, or because they were afraid of leaving. And I always say, a person with options is a person that's going to be like, have a nice life, whether they want to be celibate or they don't want to be celibate, you know. A lot of times people get older, or they let themselves go in various aspects, in various different ways, so therefore they don't have options. But I think everybody has options nowadays, because I see the ugliest, nastiest man or woman got somebody nowadays. This is the leave nobody behind generation. A lot of people just don't care. Heck, half the population walks around like they just rolled out of bed. I mean, I'm in my, my house attire, and I look cleaner than most people do when they go outside. But I digress. All right. And then, of course, a lot of people are just afraid of leaving. This is all you know. You don't want to know anyone else. I mean, it can get deep. I mean, I remember this actor/comedian, Phil Hartman. He was killed by his wife at the time because he left her. He wanted to leave her. You know, so it's deep. So the article ends on this note, talking about coping with a sexless marriage. Now, this should be interesting. So how do people who decide to stay in a sexless marriage cope with it? Just over 51% said they tried to focus their time and energy elsewhere, such as cultivating friendships or throwing themselves into work, fitness, or hobbies. And I think that there's something good about that. It's like, put that energy in towards something that's going to be more beneficial to you in this life. Especially, like I said, once you get older, that should just be the last thing that's really truly on your mind. You need to be benefiting, you know, conquering mountains. You know, you need to be conquering things that matter. You know, you need to be engaging with the world. There's a world out here outside of your bedroom. You know what I mean? But I digress. Moreover, many reported seeking alternative sexual outlets, and I would highly advise against that. Because if you're not going to be all in the relationship, then you need to be all out of the relationship. For example, 79% reported masturbate. Oh God, this is getting a little too in the weeds now. So like I said, I wasn't trying to. It said masturbating. 13 to 14% tried cyber sex or phone. Okay, so they actually. Okay, well, you know what? Let me digress. I'm not gonna read no more of this, but I support this because you're not cheating on your significant other. You're not transferring sexual diseases. You're not hurting anybody. So you know what? Go for it. There were also some participants who sought professional help in the form of individual therapy or couples counseling, while others reported giving up or resigning themselves to a life without sex. And I think counseling could be a good thing. Resigning themselves to a life without sex, I mean, is it really that bad of a life? I chose this background behind me because me walking a boardwalk on a beach, that's sex for me. Going to the gym, get on the airplane, going to a place I love, or going to a place I've never been to before, that's sex for me. Getting a new book, reading a book, that's sex for me. Learning about economics, that's sex for me. And I don't mind saying that now. You know, usually I don't get too personal about my life, but these are the things that matter to me. And if it makes me a bad person, then I guess I'm a bad person, because I know there's people out here doing way worse things. But I'll leave it at that. Article says, again, it's important to note that the study is limited in that it only focused on heterosexual persons. However, it is worth pointing out that in male-female sexist relationships, sometimes it is the male partner who wants more sex, while other times it's the female partner. Sexlessness doesn't allow just one pattern in relationships. I agree with that. If you find yourself in this kind of relationships and are distressed about this, consider speaking with a certified sex and relationship therapist. The good news is that there are a number of evidence-based solutions that can help when it comes to rekindling sexual intimacy. And like I said, in my personal opinion, I think that the intimacy needs to be more mental. That's just my personal opinion. But what do I know? What do I know? It is what it is. So that's all I have for the most part. I just wanted to go into that. I thought this was an interesting topic. If you have questions, leave the questions to the chat. I will get back to you. And I just think, like I said, this is just it's very interesting stuff. And I think that once you get, for me, the older you get, the more you should focus on things that are more important than sex, because sex is, especially in today's world, it's probably one of the easiest things to get. So if it's that serious to you, then leave your relationship and go find somebody who shares the same values. I mean, that's just all I can say, because life is too short to be around. One thing, the older I get, the one thing I can say is this: life is too short to be around people. It's too short to be around people that just ain't about it. I mean, about what you want. If I haven't learned that, especially in 2024, then I just have to keep it real on that aspect. You have to be around people and be with somebody that meets all your needs for the most part. That makes you excited about life, about being with them. It's like you have to be, and this is for men, women, heterosexual, gay, doesn't matter to me. But you just have to be connected on that level. So. But if you're not connected on the mental, then everything else is just BS, in my personal opinion. What do I know? So on that note, family, do the great three things: like, share, and subscribe. Have a great night. It's Saturday. June is officially over, so that what that means. July's coming, and I'll be doing my today's forecast. We're all going to die, and you already know what I'm going to be talking about. It's the presidential debates and elections. The only reason why I listen to the debate is so I can critique it in the comedic aspect, because at this point it's just funny. If you're on my Instagram, or even if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you're going to see that there's a video that I put out there that mocks the presidential debate. Whoever you're voting for, vote for. Whoever you're not going to vote for, don't vote for. If you're like me, you're not even participating, then don't participate. It's like, I always say, the only things I want to debate in this life has to do with money, and I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to debate culture. I'm not going to debate politics. I'm not going to debate these things, because they just don't matter. You want to talk about money? Let's talk about that all day, because that means even if I, quote unquote, did not win the debate or win the argument, that means I'm going to learn something that is useful. Arguing about politics is useless, and I'm not going to really learn anything from it. And I don't even care to argue over it. Not. It's like, for me, that's like, for me, arguing over a comic book. I'm not knocking people who are in the comic books. Arguing over people that are in the sports. I'm not knocking people that are in the sports. But that's what it basically is for me at the end of the day. And I just am not going to be a party to things that are just useless. I've wasted enough time, especially as a youngster in my 20s. I wasted enough time because I didn't know any better. So that's just, and I implore everybody to, don't waste your time. I just implore you all to do that. So because life is too short. On some realness, life is too short. But I leave it at that. Not what I think it is, but yeah. Anyway, sorry about the excuse me. I sneezed all day, and now, of course, once I go live, it's always either a noise happens or I end up sneezing. I'm just glad my computer didn't act the fool, because it seemed like it was acting up a little bit when I first went live and whatnot. But thank you to the new subscribers. I know for the most part you found my channel because of the comedic shorts that I put out there, because that's what seems to get everybody's attention nowadays. People want to be entertained. People want to laugh. I'm not mad at it. I get it. I always try to. I take away from Zoe when he talks about infotainment. He says the phrase. I don't know if he created the phrase, but it's the first time I heard the phrase called infotainment, where you're informing people, but yet you're entertaining them all at the same time. So I'm learning to bring a little bit more entertainment to the aspects of my channel, and in order for my channel to grow, and leave it at that, But anyways, as they say, or as what's his name would say,
don't hate the player, hate the game.
They say don't hate the player, hate the game. And the game is not for the lames at the end of the day, But either way, thank you to the people who subscribe and the people that see what my channel is truly about, and are not really a big fan of it. All I can say is this.
And you ain't got no slip malt liquor. You ain't keeping it real. You ain't representing. What you doing up in here, boy? Shit.
Fair use in case, because I've noticed that you get in trouble for using content and not saying fair use, and that's not even a minute. So, but yeah, I leave it at that, man. It's like, you got to do what you got to do in this life. And at the end of the day, don't forget to check out my online store. If you're a stock market investor or crypto investor, don't forget to check out WEBULL, Stash, Acorns, Coinbase, all those platforms. You sign up, I'll get a little bit of a reward for it, but you sign up, and if you're big on investing in the stock market, I'm not giving out a stock market advice. If you go to those tools, they have actual financial professionals that can help you online, or you can email people and give them a call and go from there. But either way, that's what it's all about. But I leave you with this when it comes to the sexless relationships. When you get older, priorities change. And my elders, when I was younger, and my elders would tell me this, I always thought they were full of it, but no, they're right. And this is me coming from a non-judgmental space. Remember that. You do what you do. My mindset, what's weird and wrong to me is people that rape people that advocate violence, people that are abusive. That's what's weird and wrong to me. If you don't fall in those categories, then you're not weird to me and you're not wrong. You living your best life, and you got to live it how you want to live it, because you're the one that has to look in the mirror at the end of the day, and you're the one that has to be able to sleep at night. So remember that, okay? Straight up and down. Remember that. But on that note, do the great thiefy things. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a great night. As I always say, make money moves, or you're going to live real like a fool. I'm out. I might be going live next weekend for today's forecast. We're all going to die. But if not, life goes on. So take care. I'm out. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you're having a great day. If you've been watching Larry's Anything Goes programming, you know that we are not only providing great financial intelligence content as much as possible by interviewing other financial professionals, professionals in the travel industry, real estate industry, etc., and so forth, but we provide various services when it comes to specific products that we sell, from anything that you would actually find on Amazon or actually at Walmart, etc., and so forth. And we are actually providing specific products due to today's current crisis and whatnot, to ensure that we provide the right services and products that you need at a reasonable price when it comes to medical face masks, when it comes to hand sanitizer, and when it comes to latex gloves and things of that nature, and etc., and so forth, toilet paper, paper towels. But we have what you need Also, family, don't forget that Larry's Anything Goes is a part of an affiliate marketing network known as Gold Standard Partners, where you have the opportunity to buy cryptocurrency and allow others to invest with you as becoming an affiliate marketing partner. And obviously, if they purchase a package with the program, you're able to make money off their package purchases and make money off of their crypto purchases and things of that nature. If you want to join, please follow the links in the description, and I'll give you a call as soon as you sign up and purchase a package, and we'll go from there. But definitely, it's all about the best way to make money moves is to have currency with one another and to ensure that currency is always being spoken of on all levels, so it benefits everyone and not just one specific person. That's a lot of things that people forget about. So think about joining the program, and we'll be able to go from there. But if not, either way, it's always appreciated. And thank you for watching. And hopefully you guys have a great day and continuously make money moves so you don't live broke like a fool. Take care. As you can see, with our various products, we have our financial apparel, as you see, wearing There's Anything Goes t-shirt, financial intelligence is sexy, face masks, latex gloves, things of that nature, to obviously ensure the safety of you and your family all at the same time. We want to ensure that you get the best products and see the actual products that we're actually providing for you, and giving you another view of not only the shirts and the medical masks, but actually another view of actual latex gloves and the actual hand sanitizer. Because one thing we've learned throughout this unfortunate crisis is that we have to take more precautionary measures to ensure not only the safety for ourselves, but for our families. And having a great pair of hand sanitizers, latex gloves, and medical face masks will ensure that safety. And with all that being said, hopefully you guys will check out our online store. We have the various products that you see here. With a couple of clicks, especially if you're paying via PayPal, it makes life that much easier for you to purchase our various products, especially during this unfortunate situation. You see the apparel from Larry's Anything Goes. We have the medical products when it comes to hand sanitizer, latex gloves, medical face masks, and things of that nature, and various other products. So please check out Larry's Anything Goes. Support small local businesses. We greatly appreciate it, and hopefully that you have a good day.
I will call each one, flirt with the concierge regardless of gender. And then I'll bust in on their little sex party and I'll say, you've got the right to remain naked.